All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. It is Tuesday. All right, we're awake. Honestly, when you look at things this morning, Nasdaq slightly red, E-mini slightly red, S&P slightly red. Yesterday was mostly a flat day on the S&P and the Nasdaq. We did some things here. Nasdaq's pretty close to all-time highs though. Like if you look at the Nasdaq all-time high, the Nasdaq all-time high is not that far above us. So the Nasdaq all-time high is at 25,394, and so that would be here is the all-time high, and so we're pretty close. Yeah, I mean, I assume we're gonna move up and test it this morning unless we get some bad news, but you never really know. Nasdaq posted earnings this morning. I'll put those up in chat. Got some other news going out, but Bulls earnings beats. Battlestar Galactica. I love it. We are in a little trade on the micro here. I took a couple positions here. Look, you can see we're already green. I'm gonna go ahead and take one off just a again, I assume we're going to test all-time highs this morning. We're not that far away, and so the plan is for this to be a longer-term trade, but I will cut 2/3 of it off and just let one sit if we up enough. We've already taken one off here, very small so far, but see what happens on this one. Okay, so I can correct this. Now we're down a little bit. I don't know. I kind of want to add to it. The range is small enough where I could probably get away with that. The problem is, look at Nvidia just dumped down. You know what I mean? I was gonna add to it. Too late now. Again, we got Philip Morris posted 224 versus 211. Revenue of 10.8 versus 10.7 expected. Adjusted EPS of 746.50s. RTX posted earnings as well. Coca-Cola posted earnings as well. So we had a lot of earnings come out this morning that were pretty big. All right, here, look, I'm going to add to this. Wait. Look at Nvidia dump down. Is this some rare earth news? All right, so serious credit card delinquencies with 90+ days of unpaid surge to the highest level in 14 years. S&P index futures turned positive. Philip Morris posted earnings. GPC posted earnings. Coca-Cola posted earnings. RTX posted earnings. Why is Nvidia down this much though? And it's just Nvidia, it seems. Gold turned down too. Let's look at Apple a little bit here. CoreWeave CEO investors will not raise bid for Core Scientific, according to Bloomberg. Halliburton posted earnings. According to a Reuters poll, the U.S. Fed is going to trim rates twice more this year, which is what I expect as well. And again, looking at market news, NASDAQ, S&P are down slightly. Market braces for earnings, and they remain cautious. Again, so far we've had Coca-Cola report, KO. Coca-Cola's up on their earnings report, just if you want to look at some of these earnings that are out. RTX posted earnings as well. Coca-Cola ended up posting 82 cents, expected 78 cents. I'll put the numbers up on chat right here. There's Coca-Cola's numbers. You can see Coca-Cola is all the way up to $70 a share right now, $70 a share. We had RTX. You can look at this top screen. They posted earnings also I'll put those numbers up in chat here. There's RTX. They posted 170 versus 140. Revenue of 22.48 versus 21.38 expected. Philip Morris PM also posted earnings. Take a look at PM here. They're gapping up too from the earnings. I'll put those up in chat as well. There's them. There's those numbers in chat. Also, another one we had is NASDAQ. I posted that one earlier. NASDAQ is symbol NDAQ. It's slightly down from its earnings report, but you can scroll up and see what those earnings were. Halliburton posted earnings also. I forgot the H, but Halliburton is up a little bit on this too. Now, we've had some news in terms of economic policy come out. Last night we had Zion Bank go up, kind of easing some of the fears with banking. A lot of stuff going on. Yeah, so China's CXMT targets $42 billion Shanghai IPO to challenge global chip giants. This is probably what's weighing on Nvidia stock. Again, CXMT chip maker in China is preparing an IPO in Shanghai. It could value it up to $42 billion. This is according to a report by Reuters. Maybe less chip security for Nvidia. It's probably causing Nvidia to drop down a little bit here. And so that's going on right now. If we take a look at yields, yields are under 4% this morning. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit to this. We're in 4 contracts now. If we take a look at yields, yields are now solidly under 4%. 3.89 or 3.982%. If you look at them this morning, they're pretty much flat, but they dipped a lot yesterday. Here's yields. Most of yesterday, the 10-year Treasury yields fell, which is a lower interest rate sentiment, and they're sitting at 3.98 right now, percentage yields. If we take a look at the Fed Watch Tool, Fed Watch Tool has it at 99 to 1% odds that we cut rates next month. 99 to 1% chance we cut rates. We'll see. 99 to 1% odds. Let me know what you predict to happen here. Yesterday, Besant famously said he thinks the government shutdown will end this week. I hope he's correct. VIX. Yeah, VIX is elevated this morning. But it's still not where it was like last week. It's at 1850s, so. RTX CFO states there are no discussions underway with the U.S. government regarding a potential stake in RTX. All right, some of this music is just a little bit too much, I think. Elevance Health says Medicare Advantage memberships impacted about 150,000 members in services or plan exits via presentation. Let's do a poll here. Bitcoin, if we take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin's still sitting down today. Here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down to 110s again, or 108s. The Bitcoin fell a little bit this morning from 111s, 110s yesterday to 108s today. Nvidia is down on that news. Again, Coinbase is buying crypto investing platform Echo in a $375 million deal, according to a report. We also have Cliffs operating in the big mode of tech, where businesses fashioning their business as an instrument of American competition and sovereignty. All right, so the U.S. budget deficit declined for the 25 fiscal year, due in part to a big push in tariff revenues. The deficit fell 2% for the fiscal year to 1.78 trillion, down from 1.82 in 2024. The White House is ready to ease some of these tariffs on the auto industry, delivering a big win for car makers who lobbied to reduce the fallout from higher import duties. Commerce Department is supposed to announce a 5-year extension that allows automakers to reduce what they pay in tariffs on imported cars. And so early next month, the Supreme Court is set to hear a challenge to the president's most sweeping tariffs, the reciprocal country-by-country duties that you see in the graphics. So, all right, I'm going to take a little bit off of this here just because I can. See if we can get out. There we go. All right, we got out again. Again, I think we're close enough to all-time highs where the edge swings deep to the upside, and that's what I'm kind of doing in this trade. Is I'm just kind of letting the edge swing to the upside with the market being so close to all-time highs. I assume we're going to break all-time highs today. You know, we got up to late last night. We got up to 70. 94 is the all-time high in the NASDAQ, and so I assume we're at least going to test that. It doesn't mean we're going to. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable. If you lose, make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. But I assume we're going to at least test that today. Doesn't mean we're going to. There's a push. Here, I'm going to take another piece off up here if I can. A 1-minute chart might make this look a little better. But all right, we're going to take a piece of that off. And I'm just going to leave the rest. Yeah, I'm just going to leave the rest up here. Nvidia bouncing back too. It should help me here. Yeah, gold pulling back a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't really call it a huge pullback on gold. I mean, gold had a big dip, but it's still over 42.50 for gold, so it's still pretty close. I mean, when you zoom out on the gold dip here, let's put it up. We're kind of sideways, right? So gold is actually trending kind of sideways here, like this, since last Thursday. For about a little bit less than a week, gold is pretty sideways. Now I'm just going to kind of wait for this to ease a little bit and see what happens, but lately, the dips in gold have been working. I'm not telling you to buy the dips in gold, but lately they have been okay, you know. Look at my mug this morning, guys. Look at this mug. Bob Ross. Again, most of the big earnings are out. Alright, so we got a little dip here. We already liquidated most of these positions, and we're green on the day. Been a very profitable few weeks for me. Yeah, today's the 21st. Again, look at Nvidia though. I gotta cut this position just based off of what's going on in Nvidia right now. Like, we're green on the day. There we go. I'm gonna immediately liquidate this at the top up here. I'll probably buy again, but like, Nvidia's making some swings right now, and so I don't really China Commerce Minister holds roundtable for foreign firms. We also just had Lockheed Martin post numbers. They posted 695 versus 663 earnings. If you look at LMT stock, they just posted earnings. I'll put these numbers up in the right side of the screen here. Yeah, Bobby Ross, the GOAT, you know. China vows to approve qualified exports for stable supply chain. I don't know where this news came from, but again, China vowing to approve qualified exports for stable supply chain. That should be good news. Fourth week of the shutdown. Yeah, today is day 21. Guys, 21. Honestly, it's volatile a little bit this morning. Lockheed Martin, we just posted their numbers in chat. The markets are moving this morning. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I was hoping the shutdown. I honestly, I hope Besson was correct. I really do. I hope Besson was correct. All right, guys. All right, so most of the earnings. Again, Lockheed Martin posted a all right, we got Coca-Cola, GE, Lockheed Martin, 3M beat 219 versus 210, 6.25 versus 6.52. So they missed, they beat revenue. Okay. Elevance Health, GM posted earnings. We have a bunch of big ones. Philip Morris, PM posted. NASDAQ, Equifax BDPSB revenue as well. Halliburton, Galaxy, EGX, Quest Diagnostics, EHM. Yeah, Lockheed Martin, 18.6 billion in revenue. The Fred. Yeah, 3M. I know I'm not hanging my dreams on Besson. I understand. Yeah, here's 3M pushing up. I understand it. Like, it might be a little bit of a confirmation bias. You know. But yeah, markets elevated, or markets are down slightly. Today we have Netflix earnings in the evening too. We got Zion Bank rising after strong Q3, which is kind of optimistic. Apple hit record highs yesterday, but is down a little bit this morning if you take a look at it for Apple. Apple at 261s, but again, it hit record highs yesterday. That was kind of the big story yesterday is Apple. Expectations are high for earnings, so people are going to be watching for weak guidance, and there's also obviously trade policy risk, U.S.-China trade tensions, rare earth critical mineral issues, and corporate exposure to China in the backdrop. Again, we also have a data blackout, economic data delayed, but we still get the CPI report this week. We do still have that. And if you want to see all the earnings that come out, guys, all the earnings that come out, here's a list that I compose every morning. We have big earnings. Oil going up a little bit. Oil's been down so much though. Does the shutdown end before the FOMC meeting? That's a good question. Does the government shutdown end before the FOMC meeting on October 29th? That's a good question. Does the government shutdown end before the FOMC meeting on October 29th? Yes or no? Vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think. There's a lot poll knives. What percentage portfolio should people be allocating to crypto? Depends on your risk tolerance. They changed your names to your @handle to avoid scammers, right? Like scammers kind of catch people by pretending to be other people, right? And so the way they avoid that is they make it they force people to use their @handle, which makes sense, right? I'm not even mad about this one. All right. Nasdaq's holding here though. It's close to all-time highs. We're up a decent amount already this morning, but appreciate the follows, guys. Thanks. Hoping we test all-time highs. I think we probably will. We're very close to all-time highs in the Nasdaq here. I mean, all-time highs are way up here at 394. This is the all-time high level, so we're close enough to where I think we got an edge on the upside today. It doesn't mean we're gonna hold, but I think it makes sense. Looking at our poll, we're so split down the middle here. We're 49-50. So 50% of people think yes. If you look at the government shutdown odds today, I don't know. I think, you know, there could be a couple different reasons. Like when I look at the CPI numbers personally, when I look at just what the numbers are, I'm not super happy with the expectations. Like I think the expectations are a little high. Meaning 3.1%. Neither one of the year-over-year CPI expectations are under 3%. They're all over 3%, which I don't think is necessarily good. Now, maybe they're putting the numbers in high so we can come in low and beat those numbers. That's possible. But yeah, I mean, year-over-year core, it's like 3.1%. Headline CPI expected at 3.1%. So they're both over 3%. I think month over month, they're like 0.4% expectations. The last time I looked at them. Now, these are subject to change, but they seem a little high to me. Yeah, so the numbers seem a little, like a little high for me. Vote on the poll. How did you guys do yesterday? We made a bunch of money yesterday and everything. You guys saw me day trade stocks. We made money day trading stocks yesterday. Yeah, we're at 3.1 plus. You know, now maybe we're gonna beat those numbers. I don't know. Nasdaq's starting to push up a little bit here, guys. Yeah, we got big earnings today. At least we got earnings season here. Look at the NASDAQ right here, 300. I think makes sense. But it's like right. Oh, we already got 300. But yeah, this big level right here is 300s. NASDAQ's a little sideways this morning. Nvidia's had swung up and down. You know, like a good bit here. Again, there's some optimism around U.S.-China relations, but I think people are still kind of nervous too. The president expressed hope for a fair deal with Xi, which helped risk assets rally yesterday. Global markets continue to rebound as well. The Asia-Pacific indices hit multi-year highs led by Japan's political shift and easing trade fears. Crude oil fell again on oversupply and weak demand. So. And we're still in the shutdown. I hope it ends this week. Do you guys want the shutdown to end, or do you guys care if it continues? Yeah, some of the overnight headlines. National Foreign Trade Council urges the administration to revoke the affiliate's rule on exports to China, citing harm to U.S. firms. U.S.-Australia deal. The U.S. and Australia signed an $8.5 billion critical mineral pact aiming at reducing China's dominance in rare earths. The president also signaled optimism about a, quote, fantastic deal with China's Xi Jinping, but warns of 155% tariffs if no agreement is reached. Stock futures relatively flat, slightly down. S&P down. Or wait, is the S&P down? S&P slightly down. We had some earnings. Gold dipped 2% as appetite climbed, as risk appetite increased a little bit and risk off appetite decreased some. But all-time highs over and over again, and people are bearish. Interest rates coming down. Some people are bearish. I mean, some people are certainly bullish. You wouldn't be breaking all-time highs if some people weren't bullish, you know. So some people might be. They do it every year or two regarding the government shutdown. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. The last one prior to this one was 6 years ago. Now, they might threaten it every year, and they're like, oh, no, we're going to enter a shutdown. And then, you know, before the deadline, they're like, we got a deal done, you know, and then we don't end up shutting down. That's what happened last year. Because, again, I covered this last year. I remember the shutdown happening kind of last year. And so that's sometimes what happens. But I think this one obviously is different because this one we actually are shut down, and we've now been shut down for 21 days. Earnings today, again, you can check. Earnings today include Coca-Cola, GM, 3M, RTX, Elevance Health, General Motors, Philip Morris, NASDAQ, RTX, Galaxy, Halliburton, Equifax, and more. There wasn't one last year. They just threatened to do one last year, and it didn't end up actually happening. They just threatened it. So we didn't end up actually shutting down. And last year they just said they might. They just said, hey, you know, we might have a shutdown. And Beyond Meat up to a whopping $2 a share. Big moment for it. Huh? All right, guys. NASDAQ is so flat here, though. I don't know what to do with this. What do you guys think? I mean, I want it to end just because I cover the economic data that comes out, and we don't have it. I mean, we got CPI this week. So we got something, but I'm excited about CPI. I'm more excited to get this brace unlocked tomorrow. That's what I'm really genuinely excited for. JP Morgan downgrades Goldman Sachs, says cheaper rivals are more attractive. Next, we're going to have McDonald's downgrading Burger King, saying their burgers are better. You know, I think that's the next step here. But yeah, again, JP Morgan downgraded Goldman Sachs, says cheaper rivals are more attractive. You know? Are we in a free market, or is it just an illusion? No, it's a free market. Y'all don't start talking about cheeseburgers today. I'm hungry right now. All right, guys. Nvidia up to 183s. Originally, there were some swings this morning. Again, Pawn posted one of these releases that said the CXMT chip maker in China is preparing an IPO in Shanghai that could value the company at $42 billion. According to a report by Reuters, it could take place as early as the first quarter of next year, and people are using that. I mean, we saw some swings in Nvidia when this news first came out, but it's kind of stabilized back up a little bit. NASDAQ getting back up here. Again, NASDAQ's very close to all-time highs. I think we'll probably test them, but we might not. Okay, so Goldman Sachs did flag mounting risk to global supply chains of rare earths. Yeah, so Goldman Sachs, again, let me find this article. They do see mounting risks for global supply chains of rare earths and other minerals, emphasizing China's mining and refining dominance. They outlined what challenges they see for nations seeking to build independent supply chains. Again, they said 69% of mining, 92% of refining, and 98% of magnet production in China. US and Australia did sign an $8.5 billion critical mineral deal aimed at reducing dependency on China's rare earths export control leverage. On the Chinese side, there's been pushback. Beijing tightened export controls. That happened last week, or was it the last week, on rare earths. They targeted semiconductors, which is one of the biggest sectors in tech right now, obviously. Hardware and defense end users, and warned against reliance on Western supply chains. Bassett criticized China export controls as economic coercion and signaled global decoupling risks if China continues to weaponize rare earths. Again, rare earths are critical inputs for EVs, wind turbines, electronics, military hardware, AI, semiconductor infrastructure, really. And so it does give them some leverage geopolitically. Now we got the US-Australian deal. Look at the NASDAQ push up here. Again, gold down a little bit. Oil up a little bit today, but down obviously over the last while. Again, China tightening export rules signal it might use the supply chain as a bargaining chip in US-China trade tensions. Up Faye, up Learn. BYND chart, Beyond Meat. Yeah, it's up a little bit. It might go up big. It's just not really my style, bro. I'm not. It might put in 100% gains or more, and it already kind of has. But I don't really short-term trade these things. It seems to be more like gambling to me, because sometimes they go up big and sometimes they just crash down. Now it depends on how squeezy it is, if that makes sense. Like, it depends on how much it starts. If it starts to squeeze big, maybe there's some edge, but it's also kind of like picking up pennies in front of a train track. You know, like you might be able to do it and get away with it, but eventually that train's gonna come, and you know, it's not gonna hold. Essentially, we're pretty green in our stocks. All right, NASDAQ coming back down again. I might try to buy this again on the NASDAQ here. We got a little bit of green. Got that $300 level. The question is, when does the NASDAQ test all-time highs? Oh man, that's a bad time to buy it. Let's see. Hold on. I want to see if we hold over 3. We could try to dip underneath it. If we hold, I'm gonna cut it. Still green on the day, but let's see if it retraces. Last time it retraced back up here. All right, we'll cut it. We're still green. If you look at this, I don't know if you guys can see. Still green on the day. Green. Still green. What do you think will trigger a big crash next? Yeah, but I think there's a big difference between Carvana and Beyond Meat. You got to think about what Beyond Meat is and think about whether it's viable as a standalone business, regardless of whether the stock goes up or not. And for me, I'm just not interested in it. Top 3 analogies ever in the world right now. The Beyond Meat share restriction has ended for a lot of shares. I'm expecting it to push up for the ones that hold the shares to get back some of the losses. Could see the dump all the shares back on the market if they get some losses back. Yeah, so apparently Beyond Meat announced the expiration of lockup restrictions on 316,150,176 shares of common stock issued as part of an exchange offer for 0% convertible senior notes due in 2027. Holders of the notes who participated in this offer were previously restricted from selling or transferring most of their new shares until 5 p.m. New York City time, October 16th, 2025. So the newly unrestricted shares are expected to be transferred into the company's regular trading CUSIP on October 17th, which was 4 days ago, following standard settlements. How are we completely 50-50 split on the poll here? Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. BYND might continue flying up, right? Like it could. I don't know. It's just not really my style of trades, and I got to stick with what I'm good at, and I'm not really good at catching those big squeezes in time. I mean, I did it with GameStop, and I made money on GameStop, but I'm not really good at holding these things. I get too excited. You know, I buy it, it goes up, I sell it. And so I'm just not really that good at that. Yeah, I could have held it, but it's okay. It's early in pre-market. I'm kind of like attacking range, so I gotta just be a little careful here. All right, gold's still coming back down. What's Disney doing? I haven't even seen Disney stock in a while. The Nasdaq's so flat range right now, though. Make it free, sell some gold. Gold is dipping down some today. Here's gold on the top chart. Right here. Then gold. Gold down to 4260s. I bet you 4250 psychologically is a level, but I don't know for sure. Wonder if 4250 is going to be a level here for gold. It might be. Yeah, everybody's talking about Beyond Meat. Black Tuesday? I don't think so. We're not really that red, you know? Like, I mean, the only way we're going to have, like, a big correction today is if some really bad news comes out. Maybe regarding U.S.-China, maybe regarding government. Like, I don't know. It could happen any day, but I don't really see the volatility that we would want if we're going to get, like, a big crash down this morning. Right? We got Waller giving opening remarks. Again, we got some earnings, but earnings haven't been bad. You know, we had earnings this morning. Again, Coca-Cola BDPS beat revenue, GE BDPS beat revenue, 3M BDPS beat revenue, RTX BDPS beat revenue, GM BDPS beat revenue, Philip Morris BDPS missed revenue. This has got to be wrong. I'm showing PM posted 224 versus 210 EPS, but then it posted 1 billion revenue versus 1 billion revenue versus 10.7 billion expected. Let me look this up. It's got to be wrong. All right, so U.S. AG Secretary Rollins says we must continue striking trade deals around the world so farmers are not reliant on one or two concentrated buyers via CNBC. What did Philip Morris show for revenue on your end, guys? I'm showing Philip Morris revenue 10.8 billion. Yeah. Okay. Gold is on sale now. Well, short term, I should have held that buy. You're right. Let me. I gotta take this shoe off. I'll keep this shoe on. That shoe doesn't really matter. I'm almost out of this freaking cast. Not a cast. It's a hinged knee brace. I'm almost out of this thing. All right, so now we're 52% think no, the government shutdown does not end before the Fed meeting on the 29th. Y'all don't think it's going to end before then? I don't know, man. The offer rate for the 20th yesterday showed up at 4.16%. PCAR posted 112 versus 112, revenue of 6.67 versus 6.38. Beyond Meat's still running though, if we look at it here. Look at the NASDAQ. I should have held, guys. We're getting really close, but I think there's probably going to be some more edge up here around the all-time highs. NASDAQ getting very close. Look at it run. It's at 315s right now or so. About this gold dip. Hey, good luck, bro. NASDAQ's up here. Let's see why. Is it Apple? No. Meta? No. Meta's kind of up. Microsoft. Google. AMD is moving up a little bit. Nvidia is trying to move up some. Netflix is moving up. Could be Netflix ahead of earnings. I'm gonna take 4 contracts right here. See if we can get some. Maybe it's a little late, but let's see if it fills some of this gap. There we go. Get off at the top. Come on, man. Let me get out here. All right. Take one. I don't like using market orders, but I use them if I have to. Yeah, I don't know if I really like this buy in hindsight. I mean, we already took profit, which is good. It went quickly in my direction, but I think if I'm going to take trades like this, I should have sold a little bit earlier. I'll give it a second, but only because we have profit on the day already that we could play with. But in hindsight, I probably should have sold on the big bounce right here. No. I'll let it test 300, see if it bounces back up. But I mean, we're green in every account that we have. Total, but maybe a little bit too optimistic for this trade. I just want to see if we bounce right here at 3s. I'll probably use that as a risk, and then I'd love 320 up there, but there's 300. Again, I'd love to see a bounce right here. Gold, I don't know, man. Gold is a little bit sketchier. Reddit, man, I haven't looked at Reddit stock in a minute. Is Reddit really making money though? Hold on. Reddit is struggling. You know, and this is kind of what the 90s did to us, where we got companies that aren't really profitable. $200 a share, you know? I mean, this thing it made money the last 4 quarters, I guess, but barely. And it lost $8.19 a quarter about a year ago. So, I don't know. Reddit's hard to monetize as well. There's the bounce at 300 we wanted. Again, I got in a little early. Maybe I should have just waited for that. I'm going to reduce my size a little bit leading into this just to protect it. Now it's very small. Robinhood looking better this morning. You can do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on the stream. We appreciate it. All right, there we go. And we bounced right at 300s. I should have just waited for that dip, maybe. Don't you hate it when your average price holds as a resistance right here? Look at that, right at resistance. I don't know. Apple broke all-time highs yesterday. I'm not saying it's not going to do it again today. It's up a lot last few days. So. I think Apple led the market a lot yesterday too. Nvidia is slightly green on the day as well. The Nasdaq might be slightly green too. Not quite yet. Nasdaq's close though. Nasdaq 326. 326 is the green to red level on the Nasdaq. So it's close. It's almost green on the day. It's not quite there, but it's almost there. Redfin reports that U.S. home prices rose 0.2% in September. Again, Redfin saying U.S. home prices rose 2.4 or 0.2%. I'm sorry, in September. Turnaround Tuesday, maybe. Nasdaq went up, I believe, yesterday, right? Let me look. Yeah, Nasdaq was green yesterday. It's slightly red today, but it was green yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I'm just on the shortest time frame chart. I have a big monitor underneath, like a 49-inch ultra wide monitor that I look at. That tells me that I look at with other term charts. Like if you look at this monitor I have up, like I'm looking at a 5-minute chart on this one. So it just depends on which monitor I'm using. You know? But you guys see a 1-minute chart, but that's just because it's the most time frame that I'm comfortable with looking at. Is oil by the dip where it's at now? I don't know. Alright, so we're up to green here on this trade now. I'd love to see it push up some more, and maybe I'll add to it, but I'll hold this rest pretty close to break even. I'm just not confident we're not going to range unless we start like ripping up big here. Look at gold, guys. Wow. Look at gold. Let's see if there's some news. What's the news? Look at gold. Oh. Gold down to 42.40s, under 42.50s now. Is there a reason for this? Nasdaq CEO continues to expect meaningful increase in IPO activity in the coming quarters. Playtech welcomes court examination of report findings. Hey, bud. How you doing, man? All right, buddy. Love you, dude. Good day. Hey. Alright, guys. Here, you gotta pull. There you go. Alright. What do I want to do with this? I guess I'm just gonna hold this position here. I mean, we're still ripping up. I might add to it now. A little bit more, see if we bounce. All right, cowboy. I love you. Cowgirl. Sorry. My mistake. Love you. Yeah. You look cool. That's all I'm saying. You look like you're gonna go tackle a goat. Okay? That's a compliment. Huh? You would do it. I'd tackle a goat right now. Even with my leg. The leg might help me. I could, you know. The goat's not gonna beat me right now. You don't think I could beat a goat right now? That hurts. That hurts right here. You know, you should have more confidence in your father. Okay? Come on now. Love you. My kids, man. It's Cowboy Day at school, just so everybody understands the context of the conversation we just had. In my hurt state with my knee, could I beat a goat right now? Let me know in chat. My daughter says no. I couldn't. She said if she had to pick me or the goat, she's picking the goat right now. That hurts. Gotta have more confidence in me, you know? Can't believe it. No confidence. I think I can get the goat right now. I expect you all to lie to me here too and just be like, yeah, John, you know, you're take that goat. Anyways. All right, I'm gonna liquidate some of this up here just because I need to. That hurt my average. Gold's still falling down. 42.30s for gold. I'm gonna cut some of it here. We're still green on the day. I'll take it, but. Should I do a poll on this? I think if I caught the goat, you know. But I feel like right now the hard part would be catching the goat. I'd have to wobble over there, you know. Goats are kind of fast. And goats like to use their head as a weapon. And so that's a liability for me right now. I hope it's the government opening soon. Gold and silver drop big. No clear warnings for this, they say. Yeah, look at gold. Somebody knows something. I don't see any reason for gold falling like this. Nobody else does either, I don't think. But gold and silver dropping fast this morning. Yeah, just to understand the context, I tore my MCL 3 weeks ago. And I have like a hinged knee brace on that doesn't let me bend my leg more than 60 degrees. And so that is why, I mean, obviously, 100% John, that goat's not making, you know, he's not going to win. The goat's not going to win. Let me just put it that way. All right, guys, NASDAQ still edging slightly down now. Gold down a little bit as well, under 42.50s. I'm looking at that level to see if we hold its resistance. Nvidia is still up some. Apple's almost green on the day. I don't know why gold sold off though. It's a big move for gold. NASDAQ is kind of a normal move here, but it's a bigger move for gold. The Federal Reserve hosting a conference on Bitcoin and crypto today. Poland says, I think a sheep is more your speed, John. Oh, man. Y'all are just hurting my confidence today. Hurting my confidence today, guys. Come on now. Which one? On. I don't see one. But am I missing some comments? I'm in top chat. Let me look at live chat. Nah, he's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna start my own car company. It's gonna be called Sheep Wrangler. That's the biggest dad joke ever. I almost didn't say it, but you know. Deep down, y'all know it's funny. Yeah, gold. Under 4250s. NASDAQ down all the way to 25,300s. It's a dad joke, 100%. Yeah, again, the question, here's the question, right? If the government shutdown ends like Besant says it could this week, I asked this question yesterday, does gold decrease? Does the optimism and less unknown fears cause gold to be kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news event where it goes up during the government shutdown, and then once the shutdown is ended, it contracts a little bit and goes down? I love it, Mike. Goat wagon. Land goater, you know. All right, guys. I'm sorry. Market's kind of flat right now, so I'm just... All right, we're at 183s. Nvidia hit all-time highs, was it last week? Nvidia got up to all-time highs on October 10th, which was, what, 11 days ago? It is now all the way down to 183s, but it's up a little bit today. It is moving up. The NASDAQ, guys, is just terrible here. It's just not good. Yeah, I don't really see any catalysts. The president's scheduled today. Let me see if he's speaking. Besant is supposed to speak with the Chinese vice premier this week. Quantum slump? I mean, I think it's expected. Again, I think quantum is so like some of the games that you play in markets is like something goes like this, right? This is a pretty normal chart in markets. You see this kind of chart all the time right here, where something goes up big, it's momentum, and then everybody jumps out of it. I think quantum looks like this. It doesn't mean it's not going to continue back up like this. Like, that's possible, you know? It's just, you know, when something's trading at like that high PE ratios, it's less likely that it's going to hold short term. And if it's a big sector like everybody thinks it is, it might continue up higher and higher and higher, and maybe a buy the dip scenario is good. But I think most people, when they look at quantum stocks, recognize the potential for overextension. I think this is just objectively true when you look at it. Now, if you're in it, of course, you might kind of stick your head in the sand a little bit more. But I think most people recognize that quantum is overextended in a lot of these stocks. The PE ratios are high. They've made wild moves over the past year. And generally, and not always, there's outliers, but generally stuff like that just doesn't hold short term. It usually is going to take some pullbacks. Now, again, it doesn't mean we're not going to continue back up. But I don't think the pullback in quantum stocks, like if you look at Rigetti was at NASDAQ testing highs of the day again. If you look at Rigetti was at 58 back on the 15th, so a week ago, 58. QUBT dipping down a little bit. You know, there's more, obviously. QBTS pulling back from about 47 down to 35s. I mean, I think this is pretty reasonable to expect in quantum. Doesn't mean it's over. Doesn't mean they're not going to continue going up. Pullbacks are healthy to a certain extent. I think when you're up that much as quantum has been this year, pullbacks are kind of necessary. Again, I don't know if it's going to come all the way back down or whether it's going to continue up, but I think it's pretty standard for this to happen. Yeah, beyond meat. A lot of people talking about BYND today. Again, you guys know me. I'm not a big fan of this company overall, but it's up to 220s, man. It's up big percentage-wise just on the day. It is gapping up from 150. It's all the way up to 220s. And so at the very least, this thing is up like 35, 40% today. Maybe more than that. I have to look at the percentage, but yeah, this thing is up 45% or whatever that is. It's close to 50. It's not quite 50. 50 would make it 50 would be 75 cents on the day, and it is up. It's up like 70 cents, so it's close to 50% increase on the day for BYND. I'm just not optimistic long term for the company, but it's making some moves here. Some people are saying this is a short squeeze. All right, gold down to 42.35s. Where's Open Door? A lot of people were talking about Open Door. I mean, look, I'm not saying buy Open Door, but on a technical perspective, I mean, this looks like a bull flag on a technical perspective. Again, I don't know enough about the company to just say buy. That's a obvious bull flag. It doesn't mean it's going to hold. Doesn't mean it's going to go up. With that said, Beyond Meat just broke highs of the day. It's up to 224s right now. Honestly, I've had the Impossible Tacos. I didn't hate it. They were kind of good. I was at Disney World. You know, so we were at Disney World. Can't remember. We were at, what's the safari restaurant at Disney World? You know, they got the Snooty French restaurant from Ratatouille. They've got, but it was in like Animal Kingdom. I had the Impossible Tacos and they were pretty good. Whatever they were. Again, I'm not a big believer in those businesses though. I don't think they'll necessarily do well. I don't think there's enough people that buy them. But they were good. I don't know if it was Rainforest. It was, it might have been. I don't know. It was like the safari one. Yeah, gold coming down to 42.32s here. Under 42.50s. Silver down too, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. Silver pulling back a little bit. Under 50 for silver. Look at silver this morning. Silver took a big dive this morning earlier at like 3 a.m. Is that what it is, Dirt? I don't know. You might be right. I really don't know. All I know is those Impossible Tacos were probably like, you know, $100 just for the tacos. Disney World. A turkey leg's like $50 or whatever it is. About $300. About 300 calls for $1.50 on BYND. Bought at 35 cents for November 21st. I don't know what you should do there, Smart Film, but you should be up a lot. Just be careful, bro. BYND can go up big and down big. You got it for a pretty cheap price though, but still, be careful. Again, Nvidia's starting to dip down too. Look at Nvidia. So Nvidia got up to like 183.30s. Gold rebounding a little bit though, so it's not catastrophically down. It's just a sell off somewhat in gold. Still no 8:30 news, of course. Still waiting for the government to resume. Somebody's saying they think the government's going to last. To be the longest shutdown in history, it would have to last over 35 days, I believe. Right? 35 days will be November 4th. So 35 days would make it in exactly 2 weeks longer for the longest shutdown in history. It would be 2 weeks longer than what it's been. Now maybe, I hope it doesn't, but I'm not optimistic. They seem to be pretty locked on both sides. Again, we don't have any economic data today. We might have some Canadian data. Let me see. Hold on. I think we might have Canadian CPI today or something like that, right? Or maybe that's tomorrow. No. Hold on. Yeah, we do have Canadian CPI data in 1 minute. I'll cover this. It's Canadian, but that's what we're resorting to during this government shutdown. All right, we're down to 307s. Let's see if Canadian data moves the market. I don't think it will. Again, CPI for Canada expected at 2.3% on the year. Month over month expected at negative 0.1% for Canada. We got Waller speaking again sometime today in 30 minutes, but I think he's just giving opening remarks. I don't think he's going to say anything about the economy. All right, 5 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. And, yeah. All right, so Canadian CPI all higher than expected here. 3.1% for trim CPI year over year. Median CPI 3.2 versus 3%. Core CPI or regular CPI year over year 2.4 versus 2.3. Month over month 2.8 year over year and 0.2% month over month. 2.7% for common CPI. So all of it was either higher than expected or as expected for Canadian CPI. The Coca-Cola CFO announces companies plan to roll out sugar Coke in bottles. What does that mean? What's sugar Coke? Anybody? Okay, so Coca-Cola launched a new version of its soda in the US this fall, sweetened with American cane sugar instead of high fructose syrup. Good. I mean, that's good. Yeah. I think they should have done this a long time ago. Gold's still under 4250s. NASDAQ pulling back. I mean, the range is terrible right now on the NASDAQ here. We do have here's the trend, short term. But yeah. That's good. All right, guys. NASDAQ's starting to fall down a little bit this morning. Look at this, starting to drop. Looking up news, I don't really see any big breaking news reports. Oh, we did have the Philly Fed Index that just came out. Did we really? Okay, Philly Fed Index, negative 22.2. Previous was negative 12.3. Philly Fed Index came out today? Here's the Philly Fed Index. I don't know if it just came out or what, but look, this is what I'm showing. Negative 22.2 for manufacturing. Nasdaq's coming down a little bit here, look. All right, we're hitting that 200 exponential. Gold's still coming down to test this low of the day here. Looking at stuff going on, but man. Philly Fed manufacturing general business activity negative 22.2. Hey, thank you, Smart Film. I appreciate the $10, brother. Thank you, man. As long as y'all have optimism, I could, beat a goat right now. I appreciate you guys. Hey, but no, thank you, man. I appreciate the $10. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the support. All right, Nasdaq still falling down here. Gold testing that 42.26 level. Again, Philly Fed general business activity showed a negative 22.2. Previous was negative 12.3. We do have CPI this week. CPI is pretty big. That's going to move markets for sure on Friday. No, I don't think it's Canadian CPI. It could be the Philly Fed non-manufacturing general business activity data. It was expected at negative 12.3 and ended up showing negative 22.2. That might be moving markets down, but I think we've seen a turnaround in gold anyway. So, and it could be Canadian CPI, but that dropped, I don't know, dropped 5 minutes ago. Let's see. It could be. I don't know. This was a big sell-off. It could be the Philly Fed data, though. None of it's really big, or to be honest, none of it's really influential normally under normal situations, but maybe with the government shutdown, people are just putting more weight on stuff like that. I don't know. All right, Nasdaq trying to bounce here. All right, guys, Nasdaq bouncing right around the 200 exponential. 300 right here. It's a whole dollar number. Nvidia, again, has been moving up and down. A big story of yesterday was Apple as well. Apple broke all-time highs yesterday. It's now slightly red, and it is fading down a little bit too, but you can see just over the last 48 hours how much Apple is up right here. It's up decently. It's a big... Apple's one of the more heavily weighted stocks in the S&P and the NASDAQ, and so Apple surging up over the last day or two. Down a little bit on the day, but it's mostly flat. NASDAQ's mostly flat as well. Nvidia has been back and forth with some of the rare earth stuff going on. Yeah, I didn't see the Philly Fed news on the calendar either. I saw it like drop on the print, and so I showed it to you guys as soon as I saw it, but I don't know. It's hard to tell whether that's what it is or whether this is like Apple just fading down a little bit and dragging the NASDAQ down. We had a big move in gold as well, so. All right, we're back up. Let's watch 300. Kind of a whole dollar milestone level. Let's see if this holds. As long as you're confident, Sam, you know, in my skills here, you know. Is gold finally correcting a little bit, guys? Do you guys think gold breaks 5,000 next month in November? I'm not going to say this month. Maybe it's a little optimistic. It could if we get some Fed meeting. I don't know about the decision. I think we're going to cut 25 basis points unless inflation stays really bad on Friday. But, you know, I'm going to look like this, guys. Look, hey, for all those that don't have confidence in me. You know. That's me right there, you know. This is a real picture of me an hour ago, you know. Look, AI even dubbed me John the Goat Wrangler. AI had confidence. Yeah, NASDAQ rejecting at 25,300s. Apple, break it down. Look, Apple's down to 262s. Terminator legs? Magic legs is what I like to call them, you know. Yeah, they gave me the cowboy haircut, you know. All right, NASDAQ rejecting at 25,300s, a level we talked about. Couldn't get over it. Now coming back down under the 200 exponential here. We're so choppy today, though. The market does not look easy. Yeah, I don't know why gold dropped. There's not really any prints showing why, to be honest. Like, I don't see anything. Bank of Canada October rate cuts dipped to 74%. They were 86% before because of inflation data. Their inflation data for Canada was high. All of it was either none of the Canadian inflation data, CPI, and their versions of CPI. I don't really track it like that, but none of it was lower than expected. Most of it was higher than expected. Some of it was as expected, but most of it was higher for Canada, unfortunately. And so their odds of a rate cut with higher inflation data dropped to under 75%. Again, markets are choppy, stagnant right now. Also, guys, check out Top Step if you haven't already. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. And so if you fund your own account tens of thousands of dollars in the beginning, you're probably going to lose it. Instead, limit your risk. You could still risk something, 50 bucks a month for the base challenge. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account. If you fail it, you lose 50 bucks. It's the best of both worlds. Once you're funded, it's 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in. Best of both worlds, in my opinion. But I'm biased. They're a sponsor of mine. But genuinely useful. Some of the most reliable payouts in the game. You can get started for 50 bucks. You pass it, you start taking payouts. Some of the most reliable payouts in the game. Just a great way to learn. Great way to learn with some risk, which is important because paper is just paper accounts. I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. I appreciate the love so much. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, remember, not an investment professional. You want to confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything. And we will see what happens today. Green or red day? Let me know in chat right now. Green or red day? NASDAQ starting to bounce back. I'll pin this to the top of the chat if anybody wants to check it out. Yeah, it's not false advertising, you know. 50 bucks a month, you get a 50K demo, you pass it, you get a 50K funded account. You got to activate the funded account. There's an activation fee. But I mean, that's pretty standard in almost every prop firm, you know? Either way, even if you include the activation fee, you're still getting, like, for the base one, you're getting about a $2,000 drawdown for about $200. You know, it's about $200. I have to go look approximately. And so either way, you're getting 10 to 1. You know? Yeah, Top Step's working. We're green on the day slightly. Dude, the platform for me is working right now. Top Step X, the platform is working fine. And again, I think most day traders are going to lose regardless. But yeah, dude, yesterday it had nothing to do with them. It had to do with Amazon Web Services. AWS was failing yesterday. Took a lot of places down. All right, guys, NASDAQ pushing up a little bit. Gold still low, under 42.35s right now. Low of the day is 42.26 this here. Yeah, this is them right here. Okay. What do you think this is right here on the left side of the screen? It absolutely does K, because I've seen it. You think that K? You haven't used it very long. Yeah, GLXY had earnings. It's up to 44 from 40. Pretty decent percentage here. It's up what is that, 1%? $4 and a 40 something dollar stock. Yeah, $40 stock, 1%. I don't know the most about it though. Yeah, Webull was down yesterday. Robinhood was down yesterday. A bunch of stuff was down, to be honest. A lot of stuff. You know how much stuff relies on AWS? It's a lot of different companies. Anyways, NASDAQ again, the NASDAQ is very close to all-time highs. Very close. All-time highs are roughly right up here. 394s. So this is all-time highs. And I think we're getting pretty close to that. It's possible we hit it today. We're right here right now. But it's possible we, you know, it's possible we do that. I'm not saying we do. It's possible. The closer we get to it, the more optimistic I am for it. And I think that psychology dynamic is what drives it higher. It can act, sometimes these big milestone levels can act like a magnet. I'm not saying we break. Look at gold test this low. Just broke lows of the day for gold. Back down to 42.24s right now for gold. You guys like to buy the dip in gold? I don't like Ninja Trader at all. Bro, Ninja Trader takes me back to 1994. When I was just a young pup. You know? Like, I tried using Ninja Trader, I just couldn't do it, man. Is gold by the dip right now? 52% of people think the government shutdown ends before the Fed meeting on October 29th. I hope y'all are right. I really genuinely hope you guys are right. I would love to be able to cover the economic data that comes out sometime, you know? DOS Trader, bro. I remember DOS. I actually loved DOS when I first started. Is that... Wait. DOS Trader. Let me make sure I'm talking... Is that Guy Gentile's platform? Yeah, DOS. D-A-S. Sorry, you spelled it D-O-S, so I was confused. But DOS, dude. I loved DOS when it first came out. That was the first platform I actually learned on, was DOS. But DOS is better than Ninja Trader in my... You know, and I don't... Ninja Trader's just... I just don't like it. It's subjective though. Some people are gonna love it. It just depends on what your style is. I don't really like it. I like DOS though. Yeah, Bitcoin all the way down to under 110s. It did have a rebound over the last like 3 hours. So for Bitcoin, it's coming back up a little bit. Yeah, government shutdown now projected. Yesterday it dropped all the way down to like 31% odds. So they thought the government shutdown would last 31 days, which would make it end by Halloween, basically. Today it's back up to 40 days. So you can kind of see this movement here if you look at a daily chart. It hit lows of 31, something like that at the very low. Now it's back up to, technically it's up to 40 if you round up. 65% of people think it's going to last over 35 days. That would make it up until November 4th. 47% think more than 40 days. 33% think more than 45 days. At least 35 days, 100% chance. Straight jacket, you gotta know better than that, brother. Nothing's 100% in markets. You know, I could do a poll that says, will John win the lottery every day for the next 2 weeks? 14 times. Even that wouldn't be 100% no. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple costumes I've worn on stream. I had the pink bunny suit from A Christmas Story. Might still have it. I'll have to go look. It's somewhere. I don't know if it fits me anymore, but I could be a bear. Or I could be a bull. You know? I think a bull would be more fitting because everybody calls me Perma Bull. I could be Chicken Little as well, you know. Yeah. Gold breaking down here, guys. Testing lows of the day again. NASDAQ so flat, so choppy. Somehow I'm green on the day, but not much. I could be a dove. How would I do that, Jordan? Maybe I am an algorithm. Maybe we all are. I should be Trump, pal. That's honestly not a bad idea. I could probably be Powell. I'd have a hard time sitting like Jerome Powell on stream, though. Jerome Powell sits like he's always curtsying, you know. Anyways, Bitcoin pulling back. We're at 109.2s. Gold, 42.23s. Yeah, I don't feel like I could shave. Yeah. Streams are transitory, I could say. Anyways, NASDAQ still breaking down here. Gold tested lows of the day, didn't quite break it. Nvidia pulling back, Apple pulling back. Things are really sideways today, though. Yeah, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. At least we got CPI this week. I'm ready for it. We need something. CPI is Friday. CPI inflation data dropping October 24th in 3 days. We will see what shows up Friday, 8:30. Look, we're bouncing at this level here, 295, 200 exponential. I don't know what to do with the NASDAQ today, guys. It's just not really doing anything. We're very, very sideways, very, very small range. We got about 35 minutes until the market open. I'm waiting, but market is super boring right now. It's just not really doing anything. Gold is contracted a little bit today. Bitcoin is down on the day as well. Pretty, down from about 111s to 109s right now. Nvidia slightly green. If we take a look at like where the previous close is on the NASDAQ previous close is around 326.75. So here's the previous close on the NQ. This is where we are now. Apple broke all-time highs yesterday. Down a little bit on the day so far right now. Still waiting. Is gold going to break 5,000? I don't know. It's pulling back heavy today. It doesn't mean it's going to keep going down, but, gold closed the day at about 43.75. It is now at 42.24. So gold, if you take a look at just the general pullback gold has made, like here's gold right here. If I put a 30-minute chart, this is the dip gold's made today. It's not small. It's not small. It got up to almost 4,400s, broke all-time highs, and now it is selling off significantly into the market open potentially in 30 minutes. So I got a beardless me picture somewhere. Somewhere I've got a beardless picture. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. Yeah, there's a Bitcoin conference going on right now. Look, I can kind of see it going. It's called the Payments Innovation Conference. It hasn't started yet. It starts at 9 a.m. in 4 minutes, 3 minutes. We'll see what they say. I mean, I'm not... I'll watch it, but... Here's the opening bell, 3 minutes, guys. Or not, I'm sorry. Here's 9 a.m. in 3 minutes. I don't think I really look that different without a beard. Digital gold day, Bitcoin ETF. See, Bitcoin bounces back. Bitcoin has bounced back in the last 3 minutes or so. Or 3 hours or so, I should say. All right, guys, NASDAQ down, gold still breaking down here. Apple, very flat. The liquidity is kind of low. Nvidia has been moving up in a reliable trend, but it's not the easiest trend to capitalize. I don't think the range is quite big enough. You know? I don't think the range is quite big enough. All right, guys. 295 is held, and we're also right around the 200 exponential moving average chart. So we got a little bit of room here. See, the song is good until the ducks part comes on, and that's just kind of annoying. Look, there's one. Where's Beyond Meat at? Is Beyond Meat pulled back a little bit? Look at Beyond Meat fall down here, guys. So again, under $2 now. Beyond Meat is dumping down a little bit. Here you go. Here's Beardless John. That's my son. So this was 11 years ago. This is a little bit more recent here. I can shave. I think as I get older, I'll want to shave more and more, I think. But yeah, Beyond Meat, again, it's not my style. I'm not really confident in Beyond Meat as a company overall. Now, momentum might pick it up. I really don't know. All right, guys, gold broke down. It's testing lows, but it's not really breaking them. So, like, it's right at it now. Let's see if it continues. Look at gold. So, gold's falling down now. It might actually break lows of the day here. It's at 42.20. 42.17 is the low of the day for gold. It's right there. It's at 42.17s. Looks like gold's going to break lows, crack lows right now. Yep, gold just broke lows, got down to 42.15s. Nvidia is going to continue to break. I don't know why the market's breaking down here. I really don't. I don't know what the reason is for this. Fed Waller says it's a new era for Fed payments. So the crypto meeting's going on, but he didn't comment on monetary policy or economics. Like I figured he would. Opening remarks are very rarely on outlook. The GM CEO said we expect EV demand to be lower early next year. Let me pick this. Doesn't look crazy. Look at gold though, guys. Gold 42.14s, 42.11 is now the low of the day, and gold's still falling down right now. Look at gold dip. 42.12s. Testing lows again for gold here. Yeah, I'm looking at other news. I don't really see anything going on. All right, guys, we're waiting here. We're waiting. I think people want EVs, but I think you know, they've been like the cool thing for the last few years, right? I think that dynamic might be changing a little bit. It was really shiny and exciting for a couple years, and now it's just kind of fading a little bit. Is probably what they're seeing, especially with other brands. I don't think Jerome's talking today. Waller gave opening remarks at 9 a.m., but He didn't give outlook. Opening remarks again, very rarely outlook. Gold's still flushing down here. Look at this. Gold all the way down to gold all the way down to 42.08. Hit 42.03s for gold. Gold is sliding down here. Yeah, wow. Yeah, the wire's been kind of boring, so gold is falling down and not really any reason. Could be the crypto thing, but it started to dip before this. So again, Governor Waller said Fed staff studying payment accounts to firms that currently rely on third-party banks. Says payment accounts would have limited use of Fed services and receive streamlined review. Payment accounts would not receive interest, have overdraft privileges, or access discount window, and may face balance caps. Also, Japan's Takaichi says, "I will not give up in making a strong Japan." Here, I'm gonna do a poll right now. We got a poll going live this morning. Basically, when does the government end? Will it be before the 29th? We're pretty split down the middle here. I'm gonna do a poll. Are you interested in buying the current dip on gold? All right, vote on that poll. Are you buying the dip on gold? Yeah, I think so as well, Max. Max says any hint of ending shutdown will put more pressure downward on gold. I think that's probably true. I think if the government resumed, we're going to have maybe a correction in gold. Gold's now bouncing back here. It's at 42.15s. Yeah, Bitcoin. I mean, Beyond Meat's bouncing back a little bit. It went down to $2 even. It's now back up to 2.12s. Gold bouncing back a little bit as well here. Nasdaq still incredibly flat. Incredibly flat. Kind of boring. Not really any big news. Already bought gold? I mean, we're bouncing a little bit. We had earnings this morning. Again, if you look at some of these posts we've done. Again, you can give me a follow on x.com at Beginner Trades. We post things like this during earnings season, where we kind of break down all the stuff going on at Beginner Trades. Here's all the big earnings reports. Coca-Cola, GE, mostly beats. If you look at the surprise for most of these, almost no weak surprises except for ACU. They did pretty bad, but you can see a full list of all the earnings that came out there. Yeah, the 24th is Friday. So we'll see what, hopefully they get it done before then. I think one of the biggest dates coming up, which is going to be next month, is food stamps. And what's the other one? The dates where those potentially get shut off is early next month, I believe, right? And I think that's going to put more mounting pressure on people, you know, to get the shutdown hopefully resolved. Yeah, me rebounding back up to potentially highs of the day. We're almost up to 220 now. Snap and WIC, 100%. And so I think that's a big day that you want to watch. I don't know when. Let me see when the deadline is for that. NASDAQ coming down here. 295s right now. Yeah, so the U.S. Department of Agriculture told states that if the shutdown continues, there will not be sufficient funds to pay for SNAP benefits, which could start being disrupted around November 1st. The program for WIC is funded through discretionary appropriations, unlike SNAP. In many states, advocates warn that funding could run out within weeks if the shutdown continues. So, WIC depends on the state, but yeah, it could run out too. Nvidia dipping down a little bit as well. Look at Nvidia pull back. Yeah, I'm waiting for the government shutdown to resume here, guys. Obviously. Look at this drop in the NASDAQ here. Nvidia's falling down too. Look at this drop. Apple, not really moving. Amazon. In the NASDAQ fall. I think it's mostly Nvidia though driving this down. All right, so Japan's prime minister says they plan to call on opposition parties for cooperation for stable politics. Will do utmost to cushion blow from U.S. tariffs on Japan's economy. They aim to elevate Japan and U.S. ties to new heights through meeting with President. NASDAQ coming down. It might be dropping. The president just said this publicly 3 minutes ago. He said, quote, numerous of our now great allies in the Middle East and areas surrounding the Middle East have explicitly and strongly with great enthusiasm informed me that they would welcome the opportunity at my request to go into Gaza with heavy force and straighten out Hamas. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but that could be driving this downturn in markets. I'm not sure if it is. It could be. Again, I don't know for sure. President's tweeting right now, basically. If oil's moving with this, that'll show us. Not really. Yeah, I just saw that pawn. I'm not going to go too deep into it more, but yeah, I'm just showing you why the market might be dropping right now. Gold's testing 4208s here again. Look at gold. Here's oil. Here's Nvidia on the right. We got about 15 minutes. All right, we're look, watch 4200 right here for gold. I think that's an interesting level. I don't know for sure, but it looks interesting enough. All right, guys. Yeah, we got about 16 minutes, 17 minutes until the market opens. Hopefully we get some better range. If not, I'm going to just target range. He did say, I told these countries not yet. There's still hope they'll do what's right if they do not. Yeah. But he did say that they're not doing it yet. So I don't know if that's what's driving the market down. Also, the president in Saudi Arabia's leader is set to meet at the White House on November 18th. Nasdaq still breaking lows, not lows, but breaking the range downward. Nvidia still pulling back. Oil still coming down. Look at this drop right here. See if this continues here, guys. Look at the Nasdaq bouncing off of that 575 level. Let's see if it keeps down. Again, look at gold bounce right around 4,200. Oil still breaking down. I don't know. The market's pretty rangy, Kelly. All right, looking at our poll, we asked people, are you interested in buying the dip on gold? 58% say no. Nasdaq bouncing at top 3 greatest level here at 275. Look at that bounce right there. That's why if you can find the milestone levels, you can find some like little bounce areas. Oil still breaking down. I don't know, Jay. I don't know, Jep. I really don't know, brother. Maybe it's not. I really don't know. All right, so user reports indicate problems with Amazon Web Services since 9:13 a.m. Eastern Time. So as of the last minute, I'm not showing issues on Top Step though. They look fine. BYND just broke highs of the day. Covering this because everybody else. Whatever you guys want to see, I'll cover it a little bit. 235s for BYND. Trade deal not done yet. Dude, I'm kind of having... I don't know what to do with my knee brace here. Gotta figure out, like... Could, like, put on some compression socks or something. I'll sit here. What's up 25% in 50 days? Vasquez. Or Vasquez. Look at BYND up to 250s. Look at that 295 level here as well. Look at that. Again, 14 minutes left. Got. Will the market hold here? Gold? Oh yeah, gold's up. Gold's up crazy. I thought gold might correct a little bit at 4,000. It just ripped up over it. So, gold's been wild. Gold just tapped 4,200 and then it bounced back. Nasdaq's still in this range though. Yeah, BYND's wild. It's not my style though. I'm not really gonna. Buying dips in gold are huge. Again, we're about 60-40. No, not buying dips, but. So Beyond Meat just had some news come out. They expanded their distribution at Walmart at over 2,000 stores for Walmart. They hit 248s. They're running a little bit today. Gold did bounce at 4,200s here. Old Faithful. See, I think maybe this thing's too tight. Let me loosen it while I sit. That's probably the right move. Who buys Beyond Meat? Nobody. It's not a this is not company health making Beyond Meat go up. I think this is just momentum. Getting old, John? No, well, realistically, I'm just not using my left foot very much, and so I don't know how the circulation's doing. I might have this brace a little bit too tight. I had to loosen a little bit, but no, they're not really cold. Yeah, this is just momentum for Beyond Meat. Yeah, I can't really raise my leg anyway. I guess I could put it up somewhere. Maybe that's a better idea. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to grab anything. It's all right. Yeah. I just got to remember to kind of pump my leg a little bit. All right, so Japanese Prime Minister Katashi says they do not need to see the need. They do not see the need for review of the Bank of Japan government accord now. Method of implementing monetary policy lies with the Bank of Japan. All right, gold rebounding a little bit back up to 42.20s. Nasdaq very slow, very boring today. Oil has been breaking down this morning a little bit more. Gold has been falling down quickly this morning. So again, Nasdaq red, gold red, oil slightly green, but pulling back some. Meta. Beyond Meat is the 2025 GameStop. If it starts to look like that, maybe I'll get interested in it. But right now, it's just like, right now it just looks like a penny stock trying to make a squeeze, you know? We see these a lot. Where's my foot on this trash can? Can't. Off my trash can. Oh, the gold. Listen, I'm all seriousness. The goat could probably take me out right now. You know. Like, listen, I've been at farms. Goats like to headbutt you. If they headbutt my knee right now, it's game over. I'm gonna tap out quick, you know. Let me know who would win in a fight, me or a goat right now. What are your odds? You know. Yeah, I would love to believe this is me right now, but I don't think it is. You know. This goat would definitely take me out. He's got that look in him, you know. Max. I don't know if I'd like those views, brother. Yeah, they gotta be surrounded in the picture. They're like sharks, you know. I see it. All right, guys, we're down to 278s. Gold did rebound back up. It's up to 42.21s right now. 42.21s. We got 7 minutes until the market opens. 7 minutes. All right, Nasdaq still falling at 275 here. Again, I think it's mostly following Nvidia for the NQ. I think it's mostly following Nvidia. Yeah, I remember AWS was down. What's Amazon doing today? Amazon's up again today, though. It was up yesterday when all the stuff was going on with AWS. Yeah, I see USAR. I think things are just correcting a little bit. Han just sent me this. Yeah. I'm in trouble. That goat. You see, I can tell just how by that goat's smelling me. He doesn't like me. All right, guys. NASDAQ down at 525s. Yeah. All right, look at the bounce at 275. Again, I don't know what I'm joking around a lot today, guys, and I'm sorry. I don't know what to do with this market. There's not really much for me to do. The NASDAQ is super choppy. Gold is down but bouncing up a little bit. We don't really have any big news coming out today. Not really. We got Japan's prime minister speaking, says there's no immediate plan to revise government. They want to deepen relationship of trust with the president through frank exchange of opinion. But again, the NASDAQ is not really moving. Nvidia is not really moving. Amazon's up a little bit today, which is odd. Gold has broken down significantly this morning. Maybe I should be trying to trade gold. But there's not really much going on. 3M says there is uncertainty in macroeconomic outlook for next year in 2026. There was I think there was the Philly Fed non-business index or something like that. It showed up at week, not like a negative number. I asked AI to make I asked AI to make me a movie poster. All right, look at the NASDAQ bounce. We're at 275. Again, 3M thinks there's going to be macroeconomic outlook for 2026. Yeah, I'm going to wait for the opening bell, see if we get any good stuff. We got 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. NASDAQ, again, very flat ranging. Gold's coming back down, though. It's under 220s now. It's at 42.13s for gold futures. Apple broke all-time highs yesterday. I am watching Apple this morning at the opening bell. Even though a lot of stuff is slow moving, they could wake up at the opening bell, right? So it's possible stuff wakes up. Like here's AI's depiction. John versus the goats. I love the creative liberty they took with my leg, though. You know, they gave me lightning bolts, which I can respect, you know. AI's fun. Let's see if the hold continues here at 275. I'm watching this level for sure at the opening bell on the NASDAQ. Yeah. Ugh. I'm trying to hold my leg up. It's kind of hard, to be honest. All right, NASDAQ back up. Let's watch 295s here. Nvidia is rebounding back up at the top of the range, but the NASDAQ's right at the 200 exponential. I do kind of have to wait here. I'm not going to trade this close to the bell. And look at Nvidia fall right back down. I'm just kind of waiting here. AI seems to always give you a Jerry curl. I'm an old soul. You know, what can I say? AI knows it. Look at Nvidia fall down. My 3x 20-year bond leverage ETF is up 10% past 30 days, up 1.5% today. Bonds are looking good for 2026. Give me the symbol. I appreciate the $5. Thank you, MCT. I appreciate it. Give me the symbol. Aren't yields? Yeah, I mean, I guess they would be up. Yields are down, which means bond prices are going to be higher. That makes sense. You know, I think that's a pretty good bet just based off of rate cut odds and how they're looking more and more likely. NASDAQ's still rebounding up ahead of the opening bell, though. We got 40 seconds left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Make sure you catch up to the stream. But look at this rebound here. Yeah, it could be TLT. That makes sense. I watch TLT a lot. TMF. I appreciate the donation, though. Thank you. Yeah, TNF's up big. TMF's up big, up to $44. Here's the ETF right here. What is this? 20-year treasuries. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think it makes sense just based off of interest rate sentiment. You know, interest rate sentiment. Now, the only thing I would say is just if you're short-term trading that, be careful around. There's the opening bell. Be careful around Friday this week. We do have inflation data. Inflation data can move that up or down. Look at Nvidia fall at the opening bell. Whoa. It's not a big drop. I mean, it could rebound back up, but Nvidia just fell. Yeah, just be careful around Friday CPI report because that can swing. If we get like high inflation, that's going to drop bonds and make yields go up. So just be careful. Not saying what to do, just, you know, pay attention around Friday. Appreciate the donation again. Nvidia just fell at the opening bell. Gold is still at 42.10s. Yeah, I need to figure something. I'll probably get a box and then some pillows here. Like, the reason I'm kind of off camera, like over in this corner, is because I have to stretch my legs out. Look at Nvidia fall. It's at 182s right now. Again, let me put up Apple. Here's Apple. Apple is ripping up at the open a little bit. I have to wait, especially today. With all the chop we've seen today, I got to just be patient, I think, here, you know. Look at the NASDAQ fall, Nvidia falling. I am a little tempted to buy this dip up just based off of all the stuff going on. Again, Nvidia falling down. We're at 182s. We're under 275. Let's see if that level rejects this here. There it goes. It just rejected it. Still struggling to fall down, but look at that. There's a rejection at 275. If Nvidia starts to rebound back up with Apple, we might get a resurge back up, but drop. Sorry about the music, guys. Listen, I got my leg propped up. It's hard for me to look this way. Change the music. I'm sorry. Amazon's moving. AWS was down today a little bit too. I saw reports of it. Look at AWS rip, or Amazon rip up to 220s. Nvidia is still a little bit more heavily weighted than Amazon, so it's still dragging things down. Same thing with like some other Mag 7 stocks are dropping too. We got Netflix earnings this evening. Right, so we've got some red action so far this morning. Nvidia is still down, but it's not down a lot. It could certainly bounce back here. Might short this. We're at 4 minutes into the day. All right, we'll try to short it. Oh, I missed it. All right, we'll try to short this. I could just get stuck in chop right here, though. I hope not. I'm on 275. There we go. I'm gonna take half of this off. I really not get filled that good on that last little bit. I feel like I should have gotten filled better. It is looking like a choppy day though. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this pretty soon. Let's take one off here, break even, to be honest. We'll let the rest ride. Limit my risk a little bit. Make it small, no matter what. Seeing if Nvidia rejects this level here. Still looks weak, though. It looks weak. I don't want to rush it this morning. There we go. Man, it's just not holding. Light now. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it right there. It might keep breaking down, but I don't feel like taking the risk. This big retracement back up, and look at Nvidia. So Nvidia's starting to fight its way back a little bit. Gold back up to 42.20 or so. Rejected at that 294 level. Nvidia did reject at the previous closing price. Market's so slight range here. I mean, Nvidia looks like it's weak, but I'm net green on the day, but the range still doesn't look good. If Nvidia starts to break down, maybe I'll attack it. What's Apple doing? Apple's flying up. The music too loud? Yeah, I can turn it down. Tug of war for SoFi. Yeah, I think I'm in SoFi still. Let me see. Yeah, I'm in SoFi. I'm really nicely green, though. I took some profit on it yesterday. We're up mostly on KO today. We're in Coca-Cola still. It's probably time to liquidate it, although I don't mind holding KO longer. I think I'll sit on it longer. Yeah, look at gold back up to 42.30s. All right, we're in a short in this one. I'm looking at this and I want Nvidia to reject back down here, but I'm not, like, there we go. That's a little bit better. Cover this here, lock that in. Just in case we bounce right here. Apple still looks strong. We could bounce right here at 275. Just depends on how much Nvidia breaks down. If Nvidia continues to fall, I think it's going to drag the Nasdaq. Look at gold rebound here. Gold back up to 42.37. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, gold. We got CPI inflation data at the very least this Friday. We're old? Yeah, y'all get off my lawn, okay? Come on out. Ugh. All right, guys. Apple's still breaking up here, man. It broke all-time. Where's all-time highs for Apple? Did it hit it just now? 264s. Apple consistently breaking all-time highs right now at the opening bell. 265. New all-time high for Apple here. Nasdaq's not really super green since the bell, though. It's actually kind of red based off of Nvidia falling down here. Look at Nvidia fall down, testing lows. Still kind of flat. Apple's doing really well, though. The range is very small right now, guys. Nvidia's testing lows of the day, though. It's right at 182s. Look at it fall. Nasdaq breaking down. Nvidia just cracked lows of the day. Yep, lows of the day for Nvidia. Nasdaq dragging down here. The range is tight, though, really. And look at Nvidia bounce here, and now it's flushing back down. I don't know. Nvidia down to 181.50s. I think a big psychological level is 180. If Nvidia gets under 180, I think it's just psychologically bad. 250s right here, though. We could bounce right here. NQ, let's see. Here's 250. Testing it. And we're underneath 250 on the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's starting to flush. Down. And let me check the tweets. No, he's not really tweeting anything right now regarding that stuff. Nasdaq flushing down here. Apple pulling back. Starting to see some red in the NQ. Again, check out Top Step. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money, so you can kind of limit your risk through something like this. That rhymed. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. You want to confirm everything with them. Base one's $50 a month. You fail, you lose $50. You pass it, you get a 50K funded account. 90% split. Most day traders lose as well, so it limits your risk. You're still risking something. If you include the activation fee, it's around $200, which you're still getting 10x what you're spending on it with less risk. Most day traders lose, so it makes more sense to try this. Some of the most reliable in the game. There's a link right there. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. Of course, I get paid by them, but genuinely useful. Genuinely useful. Just a great way to learn, really. All right, guys. NASDAQ under 250s now. And again, this is driven by Nvidia, like I said a bunch of times this morning. Nvidia down to 181s. at the bell. Apple's starting to rebound though. Gold's coming back down to maybe retest the lows of the day. Gold's at 42.17. All right, so we're about to back up a little bit here. Still kind of want to short this. There we go. All right, we're short. We're up about 40 ticks. I'm gonna go in and cut that off right there. Very quick trade, but I'm not really showing it glitching that much on my end. I heard AWS was having more issues this morning though, and again, that doesn't have anything to do with. It doesn't have much to do with them. It's just AWS is having problems. Elevance Health says 26 will be the low point in Medicaid margins with improvement expected in 2027. Where's Bitcoin at right now? Bitcoin's going down. Bitcoin's really kind of flat though. Oh man. Really kind of flat though. Oh man. The 10-year is the 10-year rate going down? What can you look at? You could look at like TNX Gold getting close to lows here. Here's the 10-year rate this morning, 3.95%. This is the yields, I mean, on the bottom middle chart. Gold's getting really close to lows, though. Yeah, today, this evening, we have some earnings, too. We have we got Netflix, Intuitive Surgical, Texas Instruments, Cap One, Mattel, and a bunch of other ones really. We're green on the day here, mostly green. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Yeah, I hope you're doing good, Tiny. Nasdaq's still right around these lows. And again, Nvidia's driving it down. Nvidia hit under 181s. It's at 181.12s right now. Yield's still falling. Look at yields dip. Gold just broke under 4200s. It's now at 4193s. It's still pretty early in the day though, guys. So just understand that. Like, it's still pretty early. All right, Nasdaq just broke lows of the day here, down to 225s. Gold lows of the day is 41.8560 for gold futures. Nvidia testing the lows of the day as well. Yields falling. Netflix and Comcast interested potentially in Warner Bros. Discovery buyout. All right, Nasdaq bouncing after breaking lows. Again, Nvidia down to 180.70s. So again, I think under 180s is like bad optics for Nvidia. I think down to the 170s doesn't look good for it. Again, spot gold down to 41.80 an ounce, down 4% intraday for spot gold. Here's 250s right here. Look at that 250 rejection. I don't see a reason for gold being down so much today. Not one that's really like easy to see at least. Comcast and Netflix are thinking about buying. One of them is thinking about, or interested parties to like Warner Bros. Discovery. All right, so Nvidia bounced it back a little bit. We just tapped 275. Let's watch 250s now to see what happens here. I might take a trade. I was gonna take a little pullback dip buy here at 250, but we don't really have it yet. Let me wait for it. All right, I'm gonna buy it right here. Maybe a little bit more. Two. We're already very green on the day here, so we can take the risk. A little pop. Right about 250. Maybe we got in a little bit early. There we go. I'm gonna take half off up there. Protect myself. Got the bounce. Let's see if it stays. There we go. 250 even. Look at that. Let's see if I get filled way up there. All right, cool. I got one more left. Whoa, I got filled late on that last one. Weird. We're green though. We got the bounce at 250. Again, you can kind of see how I use the levels I draw on my charts here. Look at these: rejection, bounce. You know, it might hold. It's not always gonna hold, but makes enough sense to try it on. Yeah, look at that government shutdown odds. Have those changed? That might have something to do with it. Again, I theorized a couple days ago that like if the government resumes, gold might correct a little bit. The odds at this point are still at 39.4 days of government shutdown here, so they're still pretty. It's still pretty likely that we stay shut down at this point in time, according to most people. 65% think the shutdown is going to last over 35 days. Yeah, I got to take some like anti-inflammatory stuff, dude. That's what I need to take for my foot. Feels a little swollen right now. Like my toes feel swollen. Probably not enough circulation, maybe. I don't know. Nvidia. Yeah, gold's still around lows of the day. The Apple shares Still breaking all-time highs this morning. That's one of the big stories of the day, too. Look at Apple. A minute ago, it broke up to 265.29 for all-time highs. But look at that big sell-off that just occurred on it. So, somebody taking profit, probably. Yeah, in terms of tomorrow, guys, I mean, we got Barr speaking. But again, it's kind of slow right now. The government shut down. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my legs raised. It's hard to while I'm on stream. I don't think the Fed can cut rates without key data. I actually disagree, Giorgio. I think it's kind of the opposite. I think if we don't have any data, the Fed's just going to go based off of what the outlook was for the previous meeting. And I think the previous meeting was a 25 basis point cut last month, this month, and December, right? And so I think if we don't get data, which we are going to get some data, we're going to get CPI data, right? So if CPI data comes in low, it makes it more likely we're going to cut rates this month and on the 29th. CPI data comes out on Friday on the 24th, 5 days before the Fed meeting. If CPI comes in high, it becomes less likely, but it's so close to the Fed meeting, I don't think they're going to change their tune. I think we're probably going to cut rates 25 basis points this month. Not 100% sure, but I think at this point in time, it's probable we're going to cut rates 25 basis points. I think that's why bond prices are going up. That's why yields have been falling. And I just think it's pretty likely. It could always change, though. Like, we don't really know. Ooh. All right, guys, it's almost 10 o'clock. Nasdaq's getting close to close of the day again. Gold's still breaking down. Nvidia's still falling down. Apple corrected after breaking all-time highs. So yeah, all good, Giorgio. You're good, man. All right, guys, 4 minutes. Nasdaq, big red candle here. 3M exec says the segments such as transport and electronics are going to be impacted by PFA litigation costs. Any other big news come out that caused this drop? LeBlanc says, surprised by report Canada and the US are nearing trade deal. It's over optimistic to expect trade deals in a few days, according to LeBlanc. I'm from Louisiana. I know some LeBlancs. This is Canadians. Yeah, it looks like we're going to test lows again on the NASDAQ. Doesn't mean we're going to break it, but we're close enough to where a test becomes probable. And remember, the NASDAQ could reverse today and go up. We're still pretty close to all-time highs. All-time highs in the NASDAQ are 394. We're at 230s. We're still close to all-time highs on the NQ. But, why would the Fed cut without economic data? Because I think, all right, NASDAQ just cracked lows again. I think they're going to go by what their previous outlook was if we don't have data, right? They can't just say, oh, we don't have data, we don't have any, we can't. I mean, they could, but I think, and most people agree, like if you look at these odds, right? If you look at like what the Fed Watch tool says right now, it's like 99-1 likely that we cut rates this month. You know, it's literally 99-1. 1% chance of a pause, 99% odds of a rate cut. And so I think most people here agree, and this is usually pretty accurate, the Fed Watch tool. Most people here agree that if we don't get data, we're probably going to cut rates. At a certain point, it becomes too risky not to cut rates. You know, and people like to fear inflation, and I get it. I think there's a lot of politics that goes on with it, and I'm neutral politically. But I think another basis point, another 25-point cut is understandable in the current climate of things. Labor market's been really weak. You have to be proactive with rate cuts. You can't just, at a certain point, you can't just let us into a recession And then the Fed's going to do deep quantitative easing and money printing and stimulation, and that's going to make inflation way worse. And so at a certain point, I think you have to be proactive with it, and I think you got to kind of, small 25 basis point cuts are okay, in my opinion, but, I think we're going to do 25, 25, 25. We cut 25 last month. I think we're going to do 25 this month. In December, I think we're going to do another 25. This is always subject to change, though. I mean, we could obviously change. This could obviously change. I think we'll end quantitative tightening. My guess is in December is when I think we're going to end QT. I'm going to get out of here, though, guys. Listen, y'all have a great day. I'm going to post the link here if you want to help support the channel. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Again, here's the link. If you want to check out Top Step, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them, but genuinely useful. You can learn to day trade $50 a month. They give you a 50K demo. If you pass their test, you got to make 3K in profit without losing 2K first. Reasonable ratio. If you can do that, they fund you 50K, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit prior to that split kicking in, and then 90% split afterwards. It's similar to funding your own account. Even if you include the activation fee, it's roughly $200 to get $2,000 in drawdown. So I think it makes sense. But again, they're a sponsor of mine. I am biased, but genuinely useful in my opinion. Again, I'm going to get out of here. Go walk around and elevate this leg, maybe. Have a great day, guys. Remember, I'm not an investment professional. As soon as I close this stream, it'll bring you to tomorrow's stream. And, yeah, I appreciate all the support. Thanks, guys. I should get this thing off tomorrow. Like, I should be able to get this. It might not. They might not take the brace off of me. But what they're going to do is they're going to unlock it. It's at 60 degrees. I can't bend my leg, really. I can bend it 60 degrees, and that's it. It makes it hard to sit down. They should unlock it tomorrow. As long as I don't have too much laxity, they should unlock it tomorrow. I'm excited. We'll see what happens. Hey, y'all be safe. Again, as soon as I close the stream, it's going to bring you to tomorrow's stream. I'll see you guys over there. Good luck. Have a great day.